How do you spend your first offseason? Well, if you're New York Giants cornerback DeAndre Baker, you commit armed robbery in Florida. Allegedly, Miramar police issued an arrest warrant for Baker on 4 counts of armed robbery with a firearm and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. And he's not the only one. Seattle Seahawks cornerback Quinton Dunbar is wanted on 4 counts of armed robbery with a firearm as well. So instead of linking up with vets to train, Baker linked up with a vet to commit armed robbery, allegedly. 2 current NFL cornerbacks being accused of armed robbery is crazy. Yet that's not even the craziest part. It gets much crazier. It gets much, much better. Starting with the fact that Baker was a first-round pick last year. He was the Giants' first-round pick in April of 2019, and he's allegedly committing armed robbery in May of 2020. Man, you want to talk about a fun fact? You want to talk about a fun fact? That's already one of my favorite stats of all time. From being a first-round pick to a guy picked up for armed robbery, allegedly, in just over 1 year. That is not easy to do. But apparently, DeAndre Baker has pulled off the impossible. Allegedly. GOAT. I mean, this is not some dude who bombed out of the league, fell on hard times, and then resurfaced a few years later on police blotter. This is a guy who was playing against the Eagles less than 5 months ago and allegedly robbing dudes less than 3 days ago. He's a first-round pick. And not just a first-round pick, but a guy that the Giants gave up 3 picks to trade up to get. So, as always, incredible work by you, Dave Gettleman. And as you might expect, the details of the arrest warrant are an all-time read. It reads like this. Baker and Dunbar were at a party in Miramar Wednesday night. The party gets underway at about 8 p.m., According to the arrest warrant, quote, numerous individuals were in attendance. Let me stop right there. I do have some concerns about the physical distancing issues at a party where, quote, numerous individuals were in attendance. However, as always, that's another matter altogether. Now, the host of the party stated under oath that he was outside cooking food when he heard a commotion inside. According to the warrant, when the host looked inside, quote, he observed DeAndre Lamar Baker with a gun in his hand. Baker was pointing it at one of the attendees of the party, end quote. If they're going with the government, somebody got issued a warrant for an arrest. If your middle name is a part of the story, you did something wrong, allegedly. So this guy's out back cooking, and he looks inside, and my man's got a gun, allegedly. Well, that's certainly escalated quickly. My man's probably flipping a few burgers on the grill thinking, man, I am just killing the party game again. Only to see an NFLer inside bowing up like he's going to kill someone if he doesn't get their valuables, allegedly. Because the host alleges that, quote, Baker was directing 2 other individuals to take money and valuables from other attendees, end quote. The host says that Dunbar was one of the individuals assisting Baker in taking the money and the valuables. Baker told the 3rd individual, who was wearing a red mask, to take $800 and an $18,000 Rolex from the host. According to the host, Baker, quote, directed the assailant in the red mask to shoot. Shoot. Another individual, quote, who was just walking into the party, end quote. Man, there is so much to unpack there. Like, dude, can you imagine if red mask guy actually followed the kill order? Yo, take money and watch from that guy and shoot that guy. Also, what are you thinking if you're the individual walking into a party and the first thing you're greeted with is somebody telling somebody else to shoot you? You're just rolling into a party on a Wednesday night during the quarantine, looking to hang out, maybe blow off a little bit of steam. You hear about this banging party. A couple of NFLers might be there. You're 1 foot in the door, and one of those NFLers is instructing some other dude to bust a cap in you, allegedly. Fortunately for that late arriving guest, he was able to leave with his life. but not his cash and not his ticker. He told police that Red Mask robbed him of 7 gur in cash and a Hublot valued at 25 grand. That's a hell of a party, man. That is one hell of a terrible party. Show up, get a Glock pointed right at you, and 32 grand worth of cash and merchandise stolen from you. Man, this party sucks. 0-star review. Will not go back, ever. But there's more. Another person who was interviewed for the arrest warrant had more deets. This person said that at the party, people were playing cards, people were gambling, and playing video games. At one point, an argument ensued at the card table, and Baker, along with another person, identified as Shy, quote, flipped over the table, pulled out guns, and put them in someone's face, end quote.
Right in my face.
Hey, look, nobody loves a good nickname more than me, and nobody hates self-glossing more than me. And, man, I don't think that Shy, I don't know if Shy dropped that handle on himself or if somebody else gave it to him, but I do know this. There's nothing shy about flipping over a table and putting a gun in somebody's face. Like, my man is no introvert. He should not be walking around telling people, yo, man, yo, I'm Shy. What's your name? Who is his wingman? Timid? Was Timid rocking a machine gun? Was their boy Bashful looking to roll a tank into the living room? So this witness was robbed of $4,000 in cash and an Audemars Piguet worth $17,500. Not to flex on anybody or to go all D-bag, but many of you know I'm a watch guy. I'm a watch guy that feels strongly about his opinion. It says right here, AP is the finest timepiece you can buy. Trust me, that dude felt really good about walking into that party, rocking that ticker, only to have it ripped off his wrist the second he got through the door by an NFLer and his crew, allegedly. He also stated that Baker and Dunbar, 2 days earlier, were at a different party, and they lost roughly 70 grand. Now we're getting somewhere. Why would 2 NFLers come to a party, packing heat, looking to rob people? Allegedly. Maybe because they lost 70 gur of their own dough a couple of days earlier at another party. There's still more. There always is, right? A 4th witness was interviewed and said that Baker pointed a gun at him and demanded all his money. He gave Baker $600 and a watch, a Richard Mille. But it was a knockoff. It was valued at $600. Man, how much did that sting? How much did that hurt? Getting robbed of $600 in cash is horrible. Having somebody point a gun at you has got to be pretty traumatizing. But how about having to tell the cops that your watch was fake? Everybody else at that party is rocking their Rollies, their Hublots, their APs. My man walks in there with his Richard Mille, feeling good about himself. Only to find out it was a big lie, man. You're living a lie. It was fake. Why not just say it was a Casio? It's a Timex. You know he didn't want that in the police report. You know he didn't want that getting out. You know that was so much worse for his look and his psyche than being held up at gunpoint. Having a gun to his head was traumatizing, but not nearly as bad as everybody else at that party finding out that his meal was fake. That's something that dude will never get over. Just saying. Remember, I'm a watch guy.
You see this watch?
It's fake. It's worth $5. So let me just recap this very quickly, because I know that I put a lot out there. What we have here so far is a New York Giants first-round pick from last year, a Seattle Seahawks cornerback, and the two of them are accused of going to a party and robbing the guests at this party of more than 73 grand in cash and watches. One of the best stories ever already. But how do you go next level with it? Check this. The 3 individuals fled the scene in 3 separate getaway cars. So you're probably thinking, what kind of cars were those? Unmarked white vans? Rental cars? Cars that would just blend in? Not really. One was a Beamer, one was a Benz, and the third was, wait for it, a Lamborghini. A freaking getaway Lambo. Who are you, Thomas Crown? Is this real life or a Nick Cage movie?
Okay, let's run.
He shows up to a party, commits armed robbery, and then leaves in a Lambo.